try to focus on him right now, and then once we get him out the way, then we can,
Speaking of other title holders in the division, we know you were close to the Lomachenko fight. Shakur Stevenson is another title holder in the division.
One potential opponent is Gervonta Davis. He's a new champion at 130. Would you want to fight him next if he came up?
I don't know. For me, he is not interesting because for what? For what? Money?
Big money?
Do you want me to throw out the picture?
No, that happened yesterday. I gotta do it again.
I can fight with him for free. I can fight for. Why he can't fight with me when I stay in the 130? Why? Then I was a 130 champion, WBO champion. He has a IBF title. Why in that moment he can't fight with me? Now when I move up at 135, now he want to fight with me, and I read he won the fight only on pay-per-view.
Gervonta Davis accepts Vasiliy Lomachenko's offer to fight this year, but he's making one thing very clear before the contracts even get signed. This is not a charity event for a legend coming back. This is war against one of the most dangerous punchers in boxing.
Maybe. I don't know his strategy. I don't know, but everybody who understand and who love boxing, who follow boxing, they understand. I am ready for anybody, and a lot of times I told about Gervonta Davis. I'm ready fight with him, but it depends. First of all, it's our promoter, and second place it's his choice. But I think he didn't believe in his win. That's why he don't want to take this fight.
And honestly, that warning feels real because this matchup suddenly became way more possible than people expected. For years, Lomachenko's situation outside the ring made everything complicated. The war in Ukraine, the pressure to stay home, the uncertainty around travel, all of it slowed his career down and kept big fights stuck in limbo. But now the landscape is changing. Lomachenko has more freedom to move, more freedom to negotiate, and maybe most importantly, he's no longer tied down under Bob Arum's contract structure. That means the chessboard just opened up.
Tank will be nervous going into the fight. Loma will show his skill sets. Tank will try to walk him down. Loma needs to go for the body. Tank will try to hurt him. Head hand. Throwing his favorite shot that he likes to throw is his left hand. However, I just feel like goes the distance, Tank wins. Stoppage. I love Loma, man. I mean, he was a tough fighter when I faced him. I'll say that. However, I just feel like he's not as the same as he once were. So, but the punch count that Tank showed in Frank Martin, he was losing every round. He was just waiting for that one big shot. If he fights like that, Loma wins. Because Loma is not gonna wait for that big shot. I don't know. I think Tank edges it.
And Tank sees it too. But here's the problem for Lomachenko. Timing in boxing can be brutal. A few years ago, this fight looked like a nightmare puzzle for anybody at lightweight. The angles, the footwork, the rhythm changes. Loma used to make elite fighters look like they accidentally walked into the wrong gym. But inactivity changes things. Age changes things. Meanwhile, Tank is still sitting there like a pressure cooker with dynamite in both hands. The kind of fighter who can lose rounds calmly and still erase the entire fight with one clean shot.
I feel like he got that same motivation to fight Gervonta Davis?
No.
No.
I think Tank will be the last one he picked.
How come, Coach? Tell me.
Come on, man.
The most dangerous one.
The most dangerous one. He's gonna take I ain't gonna say the easy route, but the less punishment. You know what I mean? He's gonna go that way. Dude, but all them guys right now, shit, they can crack. All of them. So it's just up to him which one he want to get KO'd by, you know?
Would it surprise you if he chose Tank out of all the lightweights?
No, that's the biggest payday.
That's why this matchup feels so dangerous now. You've got one fighter built on precision and movement, the other built on patience and destruction. And the scary part? Tank sounds like he wants to test whether the old Lomachenko magic is still enough under real fire. Because if Loma is even half a step slower, Gervonta Davis won't treat that like a weakness, he'll treat it like an invitation. And that's what makes this fight feel less like a respectful super fight and more like a generational collision with very little room for mistakes.
A lot of people are saying like, oh, they waited for him to get to this age.
Yeah, that's facts. That the people are not. I mean, come on, man. These fans are not stupid, man. Loma still sleeping at this age is a bad man. He deserves respect. And you know you're gonna have the recency bias, and everybody will say, "Oh, Tank's gonna knock him out." Tank gonna have to knock him out. He gonna have to. If Loma can avoid those big shots, he can win the fight, bro. I wouldn't count Loma out. Nah, hell no, man. I say 50-50.
And just when Gervonta Davis accepting the Vasiliy Lomachenko fight made the lightweight division feel like it was finally moving toward chaos, here comes Shakur Stevenson stepping in with that calm but dangerous confidence, like a man watching everybody play musical chairs around his name. Because Shakur is basically looking at the whole Tank versus Lomachenko conversation and going, where was this energy years ago? And honestly, he has a point. He's saying these guys could have fought when Lomachenko was closer to his peak. But now that Loma is older and closer to the final chapter of his career, suddenly everybody wants the matchup.
Honestly, I don't respect it just because of the fact that these dudes been at the same weight class for so long, and now that I'm kind of on the horizon of like getting the Lomachenko fight, now everybody wants to talk about Tank and Loma when we could have been talking about this early on in like my pro career when these two guys was, Loma was in his prime and Tank was about to reach that peak, but.
That's not disrespect from Shakur. That's timing analysis with a little spice on it. But then he flips the whole conversation again by admitting the fight is still dangerous because Lomachenko's skills don't age like normal fighters. That footwork, those angles, that ability to turn a boxing ring into a geometry problem that doesn't just disappear overnight. Still, Shakur keeps circling back to one thing, Tank's power. And that's the reality hanging over everybody at lightweight right now. You can outbox Tank for minutes, maybe even rounds. But one clean shot and suddenly your game plan looks like it got hit by lightning.
I feel like now it's like Lomachenko is got like 1 or 2 more fights left in his career probably. And I feel as though they're taking the fight now because the time is now. But if we're talking about like how the fight will play out, I still think like with Lomachenko's skills and stuff, it will still be a good fight. I don't think that Lomachenko is a pushover even though he is older. With the experience he got, the knowledge, I think that it could be a tremendous fight. All it's going to boil down to
Then Shakur starts talking about being the most avoided fighter in boxing, and I can already hear fans arguing through the screen. But the crazy part is, he actually sounds tired of explaining himself. He's naming fighters, naming negotiations, naming opportunities that never materialized. And you can tell he genuinely believes the whole division treats him like the final boss nobody wants to unlock yet. And I had to laugh when he basically said boxing fans move like a group project with copied opinions. Because that's exactly how this sport works sometimes. One bad performance and people act like you forgot how to fight overnight. But through all the frustration, all the talk about promoters and contracts and marketability, Shakur still sounds locked in on one thing, proving he belongs at the center of this era, whether people cheer for it or not.
Oh, well, he didn't take no risks, and he's not a trading fighter. He can't stand right there with fighters, and I go in there, I stand in the pocket, like I did in a lot of my previous fight before my last fight. I kept hearing how I was a flat-footed fighter, and I get hit, and all of these different things. So it's like, regardless of like whatever I do, it's going to be something to say. So I really don't try to put no pressure on myself to perform for them. I'm more so performing for myself, and I hold myself at a high standard. So.
And just when Shakur Stevenson was sitting there talking like the most avoided man at lightweight, now the conversation swings back toward Vasiliy Lomachenko, and suddenly everybody's arguing over a question boxing fans never answer normally: how old is old? When the fighter is still making elite guys look confused. Because Porter and them weren't just doing nostalgia talk here. They were trying to explain the difference between washed and evolved, and that's where boxing fans lose their minds sometimes. One side sees a 36-year-old Lomachenko and acts like he's collecting social security between rounds. The other side acts like it's still 2018 and he's teleporting around the ring yelling "No Lomachenko." The truth is somewhere in the middle, but leaning dangerously toward still a serious problem. And I actually love the comparison they made with Canelo because it's real. Just because a fighter isn't the absolute athletic peak version anymore doesn't mean he suddenly forgot how to think. In fact, sometimes older elite fighters become scarier because they stop wasting motion. That's what Porter was getting at.
To promote a fight with Gervonta Davis or Shakur Stevenson, they're gonna say, "Oh, we got the old Loma back. This is the best Loma against the best Shakur against the best Tank." It's not the old Loma. It's the best version of Loma we're gonna get right now, and in some ways, a better Loma than the Loma of old, simply because of how smart he is.
Right.
Now, this Loma can still beat a Gervonta Tank, or I can't call him Gervonta, can still beat a Tank or a Shakur just from as intelligent as he is, you know?
I think we can still call him Gervonta. I think he cleared that up and said Gervonta B. Davis is what I go by.
This version of Loma might not move like a caffeinated hummingbird anymore, but he sees everything. He's solving puzzles in real time while other fighters are still downloading the instructions. Then you bring Tank Davis into the equation and now the styles get ridiculous, because Tank fights with the confidence of a man who knows eventually somebody's lights are going to flicker. He doesn't panic, he waits. But Loma's whole style is built around mentally exhausting you before the damage even starts. That little half step, the angles, the constant feints, all that stuff feels annoying until suddenly you're down 3 rounds wondering why your legs feel like expired batteries. And here's the scary part. Both Porter and Abdullah basically admit Tank probably has the edge now because of timing and experience, but they still can't fully count Lomachenko out. That tells you everything. When a fighter gets older and people still talk about him like a live grenade, he's still elite.
So the same thing with Tank. You know, Tank just wasn't there yet. And if anybody thought that he was there when Loma was truly in his primest of primes, you're mistaken. And I think the fight now is I think it's evenly matched, but I would tend to lean towards Tank Davis at this point because of everything that I've seen Tank do. And not only that, I feel like he's got the experience now that's required to go up against Lomachenko.
And just when the Porter Way crew is breaking down how dangerous this older, smarter version of Lomachenko still is against Tank Davis, now Fanon jumps into the conversation sounding like a man who's been waiting years to yell, "See, I told y'all," because the second the news dropped about Lomachenko potentially returning, the entire lightweight division suddenly started feeling alive again. And honestly, he's not wrong about one thing. Tank versus Loma always felt like unfinished business. That fight has hovered over boxing for years, like a movie trailer that never dropped the release date. Now suddenly the smoke is back, and you can feel people trying to reconnect the dots in real time. Fanon starts talking about the timing, the politics, the contracts, the Ukraine situation slowing down, Loma no longer being tied to Bob Arum, and whether you agree with every angle or not, you can absolutely see why fans think this fight finally became realistic again.
We tell you that means we are going to get a fight between Gervonta Davis and Vasiliy Lomachenko. The news came out yesterday. Ring Magazine put it out. Everybody put it out. You may have seen it already. But as you know, Lomachenko is a former 135-pound champion. And he is one of the biggest names in that division. And he was somebody that Gervonta Davis was supposed to be fighting.
Because now Lomachenko actually has freedom. Freedom changes everything in boxing. One signature can turn a fantasy fight into a real negotiation overnight. And what's funny is everybody keeps talking about Tank's power, but the real intrigue of this matchup has never only been about knockouts. It's about control. Tank controls fear. Lomachenko controls rhythm. That's why this fight feels so dangerous. One guy wants to erase you with a single mistake. The other guy wants to mentally drain you until you start reacting half a second too slow. That's high-level torture disguised as boxing. Then Fanon starts bringing up Netflix possibilities and massive paydays. And now we're talking about a fight that's not just important competitively, it's commercially gigantic too. Because let's be honest, Tank has become one of the few fighters in boxing who genuinely moves mainstream numbers when the opponent matters. And Lomachenko still carries that aura. He's older, yes, but nobody talks about him like an old fighter. They talk about him like a dangerous final exam. That's the difference. And if this fight actually lands this year, the lightweight division instantly goes from interesting to absolute chaos.
However, Lomachenko decided to retire instead of fighting Gervonta Davis in what would have easily been the most lucrative fight of Vasiliy Lomachenko's career. And it began a series of just dramatic slowdown in Gervonta Davis's career that I'm telling you, man, it's not coincidental at all.
So now the lightweight division finally feels alive again. Tank wants the smoke. Lomachenko is stepping back into the fire, and Shakur Stevenson is still standing there, reminding everybody he might be the hardest fight out of all of them. That's what makes this era crazy right now. You've got Tank bringing that fight-ending power, Shakur bringing the elite precision, and Lomachenko still carrying enough skill and experience to make any matchup dangerous even at this stage of his career. But all the talking is done now. No more fantasy matchups, no more wrong timing debates, no more excuses. If these fights actually happen, somebody's reputation is taking a hit and somebody's legacy is leveling up in real time. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who wins, Tank, Shakur, or Loma? And yo, don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. See you in the next one.